Yankees have finally done it. They have found a third baseman that they believe in to go forward through to the second half. Trade deadline is coming up, and the Yankees are starting to make moves. What's going on, guys? King of Under 61st. Back with another video, and the first move in the Yankees trade deadline is getting Ryan McMahon from the Colorado Rockies. This is a guy I have not talked about much because the Rockies don't usually do this. They don't usually sell even if they are out of contention. The Yankees found a way to get it done, and let's talk about the return back to the Rockies first, because I think the Yankees got out of here pretty well. They trade 2 prospect pitchers, with the headliner being Griffin Herring. Griffin Herring on MLB.com is the number 8 prospect in the Yankee system, but that is heavily debated across the sites abroad. Just Baseball doesn't even have him in the top 15. This is not a guy who was going to impact the 2025 New York Yankees. This is not a guy who was among the top pitching prospects in the system, like Cam Schlittler, who we've seen already, and Carlos Lagrange, who is throwing 100 miles an hour and dominating right now. We kept those guys. So that makes this deal look pretty good. But who are we getting in Ryan McMahon? Ryan McMahon solves a problem that the Yankees have had for the last couple years now. Ryan McMahon is a very good defensive player. He has an outs above average of 4, which is in the 91st percentile in Major League Baseball. He is going to help not have as much defensive mistakes. He's going to take over in certain spots to where Volpe doesn't have to get the ball. He's also going to be a lot better at the hot corner than someone like Oswald Peraza. This is a move that desperately needed to be made on the defensive side of the ball, because that Toronto series was absolutely embarrassing. And a lot of it came from the left side of the infield. Peraza made some bad throws. Volpe was making bad throws. Everything kind of fell apart in that series, and we were actually lucky to get out of there only losing 2 out of 3. So now it is somewhat still competitive in the AL East. Getting Ryan McMahon helps that tremendously. He is a great defensive player who will make the simple plays. Now offensively, we've got a bit of stuff to talk about offensively with Ryan McMahon. Ryan McMahon is a very big power hitter. Average exit velocity in the 98th percentile of Major League Baseball. He hits the ball incredibly hard. But on the flip side, a 31.7 strikeout percentage is in the 3rd percentile. And his whiff percentage, it's at 35%. This is a very heavily swing and miss player who hits the ball hard. Does that sound familiar to anybody in terms of trade deadline acquisition? To me, that sounds a lot like what we got out of Joey Gallo. But at the same time, Joey Gallo also had all-star appearances to fall back on. He had 40 homer seasons to fall back on. Offensively, Ryan McMahon is a project. Ryan McMahon has the opportunity, especially with the short porch, him being a lefty, that if he can get into that power, there could be a lot of success there. The problem is getting into that power. I don't know if the Yankees are going to be able to make him into a guy who makes more contact, but that's going to have to be the case in order for this to be a success, because striking out around 32% of the time and whiffing 35% of the time, Yankees fans are going to be banging their head against the wall if he produces that in pinstripe. This is a very risky move if you're Brian Cashman, because Yankees fans had one name in mind. The Yankees organization had one name in mind, and that was Eugenio Suarez, the guy who has 35 home runs to this point and is a borderline Hall of Famer if he can reach certain milestones. The Yankees heard what the Diamondbacks wanted out of them in order to get it done. They weren't comfortable giving up that type of prospect capital, and they went with a left field deal. There weren't many people out there going, hey, bring in Ryan McMahon, bring in Ryan McMahon. We need Ryan McMahon. Yes, he helps the defensive side of the ball. That will be huge. And offensively, he is probably a better option than a guy like Ke'Bryan Hayes. But this is also a guy who, because he's not Ke'Bryan Hayes with the glove, you're going to be expecting a little bit more offensively from him. If he cannot produce that offensively, this deal does not look good. But if he can get into that power and he is able to hit home run after home run in a ballpark that's suited for him, a lefty power hitter that pulls the ball, this is a match made in heaven. The other concern offensively is that he produced all of that while in Coors Field. Coors Field in Colorado is basically like playing on outer space. The ball just jumps off your bat. So that exit velocity of 94 miles an hour, that might dip once he leaves Coors. But with an expected slugging percentage of in the 460s, this could be one of Cashman's best moves. But it could also be one of Cashman's biggest disappointments. This has a very high ceiling and a very low floor. Let's see where Cashman goes from here. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like down below. If you're new here, hit that sub button. The Yankees have made moves and they are going to make more. They kept their big prospects. Maybe those prospects get moved for pitching. I'm out of here. Take care and peace.